I have fond memories of the band. I have really good memories. And really the bad memories for me were more towards the end. But in general, I enjoyed the experience and learnt a lot about myself during that time. And have looked back to those times in reference to where I am now a lot. And it's given me a platform on which I kind of base who I am and what I do now. I did have lots of friends at school, and I don't know, no one ever really used to ask why don't we see you after school. I got a job quite early as well, playing in a bar every Saturday night. I think I was about 12 and a half. And that really pushed me up to the next level, because I had an audience to play for every week. And then by the time I was 14, I got a job which was basically gigged on a Thursday night late as well, 8 o'clock till 12 at night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, Sunday night. And that was part of a duo. It was a drums and keyboards duo, and we used to play for comedians and singers and stuff like that. I was really fluent at sight reading and was on the way to be I was a really, really good keyboard player at that time. And until I joined the band, I thought that's where I was going to go. I thought I was going to be like some kind of pianist or keyboard player, or and of course I joined the band and really didn't touch a keyboard for about 8 years, and I do regret that, because it's in my work now. I have to play keyboards a lot, and I always think if I hadn't have given this up, I suck now when I play keyboards. It's so bad. And I was really good when I was in my teens. And it's something I kind of lost throughout the band years. In order of singles, Do What You Like got us our record deal, I think. Not just the song on its own, because as a song it's not brilliant, but it got us notice. It got labels to look and go, take that? Is it something we could do? Would we invest in this? And we were torn between two labels. I think it was Mercury and RCA. And RCA really wanted to do it. They wanted around at that time, that 91, 92, there were no bands with images. It was all faceless dance music. It was, Smash Hits magazine were desperate to put somebody on the front that looked good, that could sell them magazines again to teenage girls. People were crying out for Take That, a band with an image. And that got us our deal. And soon after that, we kind of rush released. I think we got our deal in October, and by December we were putting out another single. That was called Promises, and it just made it into the top 40, went in at 38 and then dropped out a week later. And we thought, is this ever going to happen? And then we went back into recording, and I wrote another track called Once You've Tasted Love. And again, big release, big video, plenty of TV shows, plenty of magazines, and that failed as well to get into the top 40. Now, nowadays, if you have one miss, you're dropped. If you have two misses, you're definitely dropped. To have three misses would be unheard of. But our label believed in us. Nigel was letting me develop, but at the same time he was pressing heavily on me to get current, listen to the radio, write with people, just immerse myself in popular music. I was writing dated records that sounded like 80s records. My lyrics needed work. He was encouraging me to really put some time into this. And it was a pressure. And kind of in a way I felt defeated that we had to release a cover version. But it did what it did for us. It got us in the charts, which is what we needed. And I thought if we could just have one hit, one or two hits, then I feel we could be, the original material could be discovered. And it eventually was, because we had a top 10 with Only Takes a Minute, we had a top 20 with I Found Heaven, and then the next single was A Million Love Songs, and of course it was my lead vocal, it was my song. I really felt like I had high hopes for this record, and we had a huge hit with that. Stayed in the top 10 for 5 weeks, and I think at that point people were starting to go, okay, maybe there is something more to this band. And then I think a real key for our album, our first album, because until Million Love Songs we weren't really shifting albums, we were only selling singles. The album started to move up the charts with A Million Love Songs being played on the radio. And for the first time we'd started to see album sales. And then we had a fantastic remix of a song called Could It Be Magic, which was kind of like an afterthought on the record. We had done it, but the production was so bad on it, it was embarrassing. But one of the guys at the record company had got this remix done, which was unbelievable. It was like a Motown flavour. And we all heard it in the van one day, and it was just like, this is unbelievable. And we brought it out sort of, light release halfway through December, and I think we stayed at number 3 throughout January, right over Christmas and throughout January, and that was really a big hit for us. And the album went through the roof. We did double, triple platinum over Christmas on the album, and all of a sudden we're an album selling act. What everyone said, pop music, it's gone, it's had it. It was back. It was at that point everyone was starting to retune themselves back into the fact that pop music was making its comeback. I think we all felt in control until about, I always time this by records, I don't know the years, about Pray. When Pray was out, I think we were number 1 for 4 weeks or something. Just something happened when we had our first number 1. Something all of a sudden struck a chord with me, which made me, it was like you're all of a sudden aware of what is actually happening here. You get home after a tour, and there's 150 girls outside your front drive. People have thrown stuff in your garden. Someone had tried to break into the back door. Your mum and dad had someone come round from the newspaper. You got answer phone messages from the News of the World. It suddenly started to become apparent that, okay, right, this is getting serious. And then you'd start thinking, quick, Nigel, call me, I need to get away again. We need to go to Germany, I need to get away from this house. And you sleep at night, someone throws something at the window, there's girls out there singing Could It Be Magic till 3 a.m. You start thinking, this is tiring. Go to get some shopping in, you're signing autographs at the checkout. There's a photographer coming outside, can have a picture of you with an Asda bag next to you. Started thinking, this is good, but this is a bit irritating now. So you get back together again, and it's all good, because it's all laughs and jokes and games. It's all good, and then you start telling each other your little stories, things that happen. You won't believe what this woman said to me, and this guy was so rude to me. I went into this bar and someone wanted to fight me, and you start to tell each other, and it makes it a little bit better, because you think, everyone else is going through it, but man, what are we doing here? This is getting serious. And of course, when you're in a band like this, that all the fame comes and the hit records, and it's a year, 2 years later till the money comes with it. It's a year, 2 years later till you can have gates and security and cameras and being able to put that distance between you and people who want to stalk you and try and be a part of your life constantly. The second album was when I thought I really became a songwriter. Confidence is a big thing when you're a creative person. We'd had hits, I'd had some hit records, I wanted more. Everyone was talking about this next record, so after we'd toured and everyone sort of went out, had a month off and went on holiday, there was one thing on my mind, and that was to go back home to the studio and write an unbelievable second album. And I mean, it's been a long time since I've listened to our records, but our second album was really good, I thought. Pray was the first single from the new record, and I think it was at that very point where people started to take me seriously as a songwriter. I won an Ivor Novello Award for that song, and at that point people were starting to ask in interviews, so what's the process, what's the songwriter? I'd never been asked that before. It was never part of the interview, and that felt great. I thought we all got on incredibly well. For 5 guys with egos, we all had egos, travelling round, living in each other's pockets 24 hours a day all week, I think we got away with it quite well. I think it was the one comment people always, even now, say to me, can't believe how well you guys used to get on. You know, you'd go past your dressing room and you could hear the laughter coming from there. We'd be laughing, you know. I remember lots of those times, you know. I don't ever remember sitting in a hotel room on my own. I'd remember it that we'd be in someone's hotel room, all sat talking, having a drink. I think we did well. I think we did all right for that. I think as I was closer to to some band members than others, would have different conversations with different people, but in general, never rubbed with anybody. When I joined the band, I never used to drink, I never used to smoke. I was really boring with all that. I mean, not even a little drink, I just wasn't interested in it. So I discovered during the band drink, actually. So when we went out, I used to really get drunk, really drunk. And I mean, it used to tickle everyone when I got drunk, it really did. So that's what I graduated to joining the band. And I never forget, by the end of by our last European tour we did, that we were all so bored on the road. I mean, it's just, you know, doing the same every day, especially interviews. I mean, good God, it's painful. It's painful. You're hanging around dressing rooms for hours and hours, and we all smoked by the end, all of us, everybody. So we'd pull up at recording a TV studio, and the van doors would be open, and there'd be these plumes of smoke, just like Top of the Pops coming out of this van, just you know, the lid would come off this ashtray, and this smoke would just rise, and we were terrible. I mean, I left. That's one thing. I left the band a chain smoker. I feel often very guilty for not noticing a lot of the things I'm now told Robbie went through. I mean, Jason talks about things a lot when I see him about. He'll tell you in his interview of he noticed things about Robbie. I seem to miss a lot of those things. I never noticed him drinking. He always used to smoke. I always used to bum fags off him and stuff, and he always used to smoke. I don't remember the drink. I remember the drugs starting. I don't remember the drink. I think the biggest problem with Robbie, Gary, is that we were both trying to do the same thing. We both wanted solo careers. Now, when you get that, you get the press and the whole media wanting a competition. There's nothing more exciting than a duel. There just isn't. Goes back in history, that does. Everybody loves a fight out. And I think that at that point, I mean, I know for certain I was probably at my worst point personally. I was on a massive confidence, the biggest my ego's ever been. And I reckon Robbie was probably in a similar place, coming out of the band. I mean, you just think the world owes you everything. When you've been at that height, you just think everything you touch, everything that moves turns to triple platinum. You know, it's that mind. Great mind for an artist, that is. We decided to go on as a 4-piece because, one, we had to. We had a huge tour. We not only had a tour in England ahead, I remember we had an Australian tour. We had a Southeast Asian tour to do afterwards. So for that reason alone, we had to go on. We could have lost, I mean, a lot of money if we'd had the stages made. We were deep in investment basically in these shows. We had to do them. So we decided between us, right, come on, knuckle down, let's go and do them on our own, you know. If anyone wants their money back because Robbie's not in the band, we'll give it them back and we'll resell the tickets, no problem, but let's deliver, let's go and do that. And we did that up until that Christmas. We just worked and worked and worked. We went to America, we did some promotion there as a 4-piece. I mean, we kept at it. Nothing stopped for us. And then we all went on holiday at Christmas. And that's when the band ended. If we hadn't have had that break, I think we'd have happily gone on for another year probably. But everyone had that break, we all went away and had that time to think, and you know, it's not what it used to be. There used to be 5, now there's 4. It's not take that anymore. And it wasn't. And at that point, it seemed like a good time to do a greatest hits and go our separate ways. It was always my plan to be behind the scenes, I guess, writing, producing, making records, and letting someone else go through all the stuff we've talked about today. And it's the next step, I think. It's the obvious next step. You know, if you're a footballer, you become a coach or a manager or whatever. And I feel like it was a next step for me to go into production, to go into songwriting and make records for other people, help and teach and guide other artists for all those things that I've been lucky enough to learn. Try and help them not make those mistakes, or, you know, give a bit back as well. Help in ways that I guess some other producers couldn't. I think that we touched a lot of people, and it wasn't a generational thing either. I think it was multi-generations actually we touched. Okay, it started off with young girls, but you know, as it does with families, you know, the parents end up listening to what the kids listening to, and so on. And I mean, our gigs by the end, our live shows, and we were always renowned for our live shows being unbelievable events. You would see a massive cross-section. And I guess if you asked someone in the street, they would say, nice songs, great bunch of lads, and we all thoroughly enjoyed it when they were together. It was fun. It was fun. Because there's 5 of you. It's a laugh. It's dreams coming true. It's what we wanted. It wasn't serious. None of us took it seriously. It was just great. And at that point, you know, we were all feeling like we were playing a part in it. We weren't being led. And And it was like, this is why we've done this, and this is what we're getting because of it.